All right, everyone. Here is our Infect deck that we're running in the league. We're testing out our Tamiyo version of Infect. Shout out to Fenris Cloud for first bringing this to my attention. Of course, you guys know I'm a huge Infect player. Been playing it in Modern, been playing it in Legacy. I've got pretty much everything I need for the Legacy version of Infect. So it's just a fun deck to play. It's like a very different mindset, Legacy Infect, compared to Modern. Yes, you're still like, oh, I'm going to dump these pump spells and win, but we get access to things like Invigorate, which we can just have our opponent lose life or gain 3 life to be able to draw cards that way. Not draw cards. Gain 3 life, get 4 damage essentially added onto whatever our elves are or our blighted agents. So creature-wise, it's still that side of things. You know, Tamiyo helps us out with just being able to get pump spells back from our graveyard, being able to get counter spells back from our graveyard. Also, just draw spells or draw stuff. If we're getting down low, we can be able to utilize the clues. Sylvan Libraries back in here to help flip Tamiyo. You know, we've got Brainstorm, so we can basically instantly flip Tamiyo. So there's Tamiyo is surprisingly good in Legacy because of that. It's kind of the normal counterspell package here. You know, we've got Daze, we got Force of Wills. We're not running the Wasteland. I ran older versions that had a Wasteland in there. We used to run Crop Rotate. We're not doing that anymore. We're doing the Hedge Maids though. You know, access to the Hedge Maids because the Surveil is pretty sweet. We've got the one of Savannah in the main here. We also get access to white through our Noble Hierarch to give us access to the Swords of Plowshare in here. You know, more counter spells here, Consigned to Memory, Flusterstorm. Eldrazi is a thing. Triggered abilities is a thing. So, getting rid of that's really good. Some anti-artifact and enchantment stuff with Force of Vigor, an extra Sylvan Library. I don't know. I'm not that happy about the extra Sylvan Library. I'm just not sure what to put in here yet to replace it. Veil of Summer is very nice. People are Thought Season. Cabal is coming in. People are stripping away cards. That's pretty nice. Grafdigger's Cave is great because there's still Reanimator stuff. I might replace Sylvan Library with something to deal more with Nadu. I'm not sure. I mean, we got the 4 sources Plowshare, which is nice against a lot of decks, but there's still some stuff. So give me some suggestions. But we're going to be showing you guys replayed stuff coming up soon. 5 rounds. We're doing the replay mode, so it's very fast, very quick. We try to pause and talk through some stuff a little bit. But let me know what you think about the replay mode compared to the actual league matches that we did for the last MTGO. Also, we're going to be doing some giveaways here. We have 120 play points. We're giving away to 2 people that are watching the video today. So if you like the video and you're following the channel, you're subscribed up, leave a comment with what deck you want to play in Legacy. If you do that, we'll do a drawing and give away 120 play points so you can be able to play in leagues on Moto. So we're giving away to 2 people that are, leaving a comment on the video. But let's jump into it. Round 1. Let's see what we're playing against. What up, gamers? We are doing some MTGO content for you today. So I played through some Legacy leagues. There's going to be some more Legacy content coming out. I was enjoying doing some Modern stuff, but let's get into this. Big surprise what my deck is for Legacy. It's Infect, y'all. I've been enjoying playing through and doing Tamiyo Infect. I know there's the Nadu version of Infect that's running around. I've been grinding and testing this out. So get a decent start. You want to be able to have an Infect creature if you can, or you can get away with a Noble Hierarch with a bunch of cantrips and stuff like that. But seeing my opponent is essentially on a control list is really, really nice. So I'm able to start getting in. They're tapping out, playing a bunch of cantrips, ponders, and stuff like that. So I'm okay, I can get in some initial chip damage and hope to kind of build up for a big game-ending swing, right? And big in Berserk. We lose our elf, but we've got 3 more Infect threats in hand here. Go for the Hedge Mates. I've added this in to my list, and I love it. I've been playing it in Modern, and having it in Infect for Legacy is awesome. So we basically leave up 2 threats here. All right, Blighted Agent and Ink Moth, depending on what our opponent does, we're going to be able to do a lot. This Brainstorm's nice because it kind of gives us a setup for a win next turn, assuming they don't have a Force of Will or something like that. But because we have Daze back up, we can try to go for the win here. So we've got Invigorate, we've got Berserk to follow it up, and there's the Force of Will. And hope they don't have a Daze or another Force, and they've only got 2 cards, and they don't, so we get the nice little quick turn 1 or turn 3 there, victory there. So that was at least game number 1. I wanted to show you guys this one because it was fast paced, but that sometimes is how it is when you're fighting against a control list that it's kind of going a little bit slower. So let's jump into game number 2 here as well. All right, game number 2 here. So this is we have a threat with the Ink Moth Nexus, and we've got like all the interaction that we could hope for with like double Daze and a Force. We've got a Brainstorm that we can pitch to a Force as well as use it to kind of draw cards. So we're hoping to be able to just do the slow trickle play, right? So it's like our opponents just sort of land go, which is what you want to see if you're playing Infect against like a control-based deck. It's just kind of, all right, that's fine. We can get away with being able to go this route. All right, here's the Exalted Trigger again. Just kind of chip damage here. If my opponent's going to like play a Bolt or something like that, that's fine. We're less worried about that. And they're just going to be getting their first Brainstorm. Of course, you've got your Flooded Strand, so if you want to shuffle away the cards, you can be able to do that, right? And that's kind of going to be what we see here. And another, are we going to see just another Supreme? What do they got here? I don't remember. Oh, Wrath of Skies. Okay, so this is the nice, let's kind of try to do some digging here, set up for it, and we'll try to hit it with the Force. They Force, we can respond with a Daze, and we have our own Daze as well to really make sure everything stays alive. We have to dump our whole hand, but again, we're left with 2 cards, they're left with 2 cards. We're hoping they don't have anything else, and we can just draw into the win here. Assuming they don't have a Daze or a Force that they would have done already. But we've already done 2. And Big M turns it to a 6. And there's the Invigorate for the +4 for lethal there. So very quick, fast-paced stuff. Let me know, do you guys like the fast-paced? We're doing them from replays instead of the live stuff because I'm trying out both versions just to see what you guys prefer. Do you like kind of going through and doing more of this commentary side of things? Or do you prefer seeing the thought making decisions in the middle of the league? So we're still testing out the MTGO content, so let me know what you guys think of that side of things. But let's jump into our next round here. All right, next round coming up here. This is a riskier hand to keep. We're sitting here with 4 lands. We probably should mulligan it, to be honest, because we don't really have much to go off of here. We are hoping to be greedy, try to get a Noble out and go from there. Our opponent actually forces our Noble, and that could be in part because there's a lot of Nadu running around, or at least in some of the leagues that I've been fighting. They hit us with a Surgical, stripping away our Noble. Less worrisome. A Thoughtseize, though, stripping away our Brainstorm is painful, but the fact that they don't play a second land makes it kind of feel a little bit safer for us to kind of interact with. We don't drop the Sylvan Library there, just on the off chance they have the Daze, and then we just get blown out. So this way, because we have so much lands, we can afford to wait a little bit and hope for there. So now they're sitting here with this sort of build up, playing the Troll of Khazak Dune like that. Yeah, it gives us indication, okay, we're fighting against a Reanimate strategy. We got to hope that we can get into one of our threats. That's not really one of our threats, so we're kind of stuck, right? A Brainstorm, they're setting up here. We can take a couple of pot shots from the Troll, like we're okay with this. Like if we get an Ink Moth Nexus, we're okay. If we get a Blighted Agent, we're okay. But we really got to kind of hope for it. So Hedge Maze helps us out, and Biggin doesn't, it's not a threat here, so we can easily dump it. Glistener Elf is not bad. We can set up for a win with Glistener Elf. Like if our opponent continues to swing in and has no way to block, like doesn't play a blocker, we could just kill them next turn with Invigorate and Berserk. And that's kind of the exciting part of running Infect, is you can just win out of nowhere, but it can grind with the best of them. And yeah, we got a couple lands there that we don't care about. Let's make this bigger with our Pendelhaven. We've got an Invigorate here, gain some life. and a Berserk for lethal. So game number 1 against Reanimator strategy worked out great. We kind of snuck in with that with our opponent kind of fumbling on lands, but you know, they had a lot of interaction early on, and we kind of kept not the best hand for it, and it kind of worked out in our favor there. So I was very happy with being able to rock out with the Infect side of things here for this next round here against Reanimate. So let's go. We're going to be jumping into game number 2 here. Sideboard adventures against our Reanimate strategy. We brought in our Swords to Plowshares. You know, our opponent's going to be committing a lot to getting out a bunch of threats through their graveyard, so we can be able to use the swords to do that. Now, we search for a Savannah specifically to be able to help us out, and we're met with... So, that's the quickest game ever. The reason that we scooped it up here is we lost our white source, and we're about to lose our other white source. Yes, we have a bunch of our lands, but the fact that they were about to get an Archon out, forcing us to sacrifice a creature, discard a card, lose 3 life, and then we're getting hit for 9, same sort of plan. We will never be able to successfully stick a Blighted Agent at that point. So instead of grinding it that way, we could have probably like dragged it out more, but we have 1 white source. We have 1 Savannah in the list. So with that, there's no point. So the fastest game 2 ever. Sometimes that happens. I played a league earlier, and my opponent had a Storm deck that won on turn 1 in game 1. We won game 2, and they won on game 3 on turn 1. Well, basically, they won the die roll, so they got to win before we could stop them. And yeah, it just... You know, that sometimes happens in Legacy, right? Sometimes you can just get there. So that means we get game 3. All right. Okay, game number 3. Jumping into here. We're playing against Reanimator. We have a lot more interaction this time. We've got our sideboard Surgical. We've got some Brainstorms. We got some Force. That's annoying. But us being able to do this, okay, so hold on. Can we back it up a little bit? I don't know if we can. I'm still getting used to the replay system of it. But so us being able to have the Force shenanigans, the Brainstorms, the Dazes protects us from the Wasteland there, which is really nice. So that was basically what I was going to talk about here. Is just like things worked out and lined up perfectly for us to be able to do that. Now the Wasteland on us would have hurt a lot, but we're kind of set up here that, okay, got our Tropical, we're okay. We have a Misty to follow it up. Like we can start getting our Blighted Agent out. If our opponent starts to do stuff, we have a Surgical. Boom, boom, boom. Our first Blighted Agent, and then we have Force with Blighted to chuck if need be. Or worst case, we can respond and do stuff. So, Entomb, we're going to go find an Atraxa. So here's... Yeah, okay. I'm still getting used to the Moto client, and I forgot to click things. One of the things that I forgot to click, I went through their library and said, okay, they only have 1 Atraxa in their list when I click Surgical, and then I forgot to select the card in the graveyard because it's like, here's their library, it pops up with a window, and then here's their graveyard, and then you're supposed to click on all the things that you want. And then I just misclicked, not clicking on anything, of just like, okay, cool, there's nothing in the library. Close the library, and then it was like, cool, spell resolved. You didn't click anything in their graveyard, so you clearly didn't want anything. You just wanted to lose 2 life for the fun of it. So we kind of got there. We at least have the Force to stop that, but that really we should have just died there. But if we draw into a Berserk or something, we're okay. Grafdigger's Cage off the top is nice because it stops the shenanigans that could happen. Clearly he doesn't have a counterspell, or he would have stopped our Force on the Reanimate, and now we can just push for some damage. We use the Embiggen here. I know it's like, oh, but you could Embiggen and Berserk and kill somebody in 1 turn. Yes, but in the off chance that we don't end up finding that stuff, I'd rather just increase our clock and make this a quicker closeout at this point. If our opponent finds ways to interact with Grafdigger's Cage. If they find interaction, it makes it tough. So we'll hit this with a nice little swords, and our opponent will scoop up there knowing that they're at 8 and they die next turn. So that was that kind of let's close the clock, put our opponent on, you know, on blast here that they have no way to respond. So even though we made a little misplay with the surgical using with Moto, we still got there with that one. So, you know, first 2 rounds in the books. Let's jump into round number 3 here. Yeah, all right. So basically we probably could have gotten away with another mulligan. It's like, was not happy with the way our deck worked out. It was basically the same hand as round 1, but this time we get a couple of dazes to help us hope for the best. This is building up to a annoying little deck here, but we've got the daze. We're going to return Floating Island. Why not? Really, we could have, you know, if we had the Brainstorm, would have been great there, but we don't. We now have a threat with Bladed Agent, but them seeing that is in Nantuko, and we've already saw the Elvish Reclaimer, we're building up to a land-based deck. There's the Ignoble Hierarch. It's going to be a really annoying and troublesome deck to play against. Now, this isn't like lands like you're used to with like Merit Lage and the Golgari style. This is a much more, I don't remember the specific name for it. I'm gonna have to look it up off the top of my head, but we're gonna be able to get our Blighted Agent out here, and we're hoping to kill our opponent next turn. All right, we're set up here with that plan. Collector Oof, cool. We have no interaction with artifacts to matter. Your little bit of damage you're pushing for off the Exalted trigger, we don't really care. Let's go for the little untap, Invigorate Berserk, and if our opponent tries to stop us, we have Daze and we have Legolas' quick reflexes here. So yeah, I say, all right, let's go for it. So this is the scary part, right? We're sacrificing a land to put this out. Okay. All right. So Talon Gates, when it enters, up to 1 target creature phases out. This deck is full of them, right? People used to run like Maze of Ith and things like that, but the fact that you can be able to get more mana off this and you know, filter mana, you know, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. So if we did not have Legolas's quick reflexes here, we lose. But the fact that we've got it, they could try to phase our creature out, but it's got hexproof, and they have no way to deal with it, and so we just deal our lethal amount of damage to them there and take them out for game number 1. But this also gives us that information of what we're playing against. Most Legacy Infect lists are not running Vines anymore, as you've seen, because Legolas's quick reflexes is so good. So, you know, that's game number 1. Let's see how game number 2 goes. Sideboard stuff. This hand's fine. We got 2 threats. We don't have any interaction this time, though. No dazes, no Force of Wills, so it's like a little risky in that regard. We do, of course, have our Source Plowshares. Kind of help if our opponent is getting that annoying creature out. You know, this right is annoying too. It's annoying because you get to sacrifice other creatures. Fatal Push is a pain in the butt. Once Upon a Time, they get Gaia's Cradle, and you can kind of see what the deck is trying to do from here, right? It's trying to set things up. We're going to hit him with the swords here because, again, we're trying to get rid of it, and he responds and blinks it, phases it out, so that's like a wasted... I'd say wasted. It's not 100% wasted, but it's like... Okay, that's one less that we have to worry about. The problem is he's just going to keep playing creatures now, and he can keep sacrificing them. He's got the nice little effect here. He can be able to tutor up and get the Grist, blow it up. So it's like we're starting to get a better idea of what the deck is trying to do, right? It's got this little aggro plan built in. It's got land shenanigans. It's very annoying to deal with. Yeah, Daze doesn't help us here. So yeah, the Hedge Mage has been helping a lot. I've been a big fan of it. We're going to go for this because it, like... Yeah, we're just going to push for damage here. Double Exalted Trigger. There's no point in us pumping because, you know, our opponent could do the sacrificing stuff, sack another creature. And now they have 2 of them. We get so much mana. Look at this. They're going to filter through and sack a Gaia's Cradle, get another Gaia's Cradle, have their lair. So this becomes a 6/6, right? We get some threats coming our way. Now, if we get a Legolas's Quick Reflexes, we're okay. We don't have it. We draw another Noble, so we try to push for damage here. Triple Exalted trigger. Response, let's sack something, let's phase this out. And we're at 4 life. So there's not much we can kind of do here. Because I'm assuming they probably have another of these Talons. Alright, so they draw land. But again, they're just going to dump all their mana into the lair of Hydra. And they've got this as a 6/6 and 2 4/4s with Vigilance. Oh, sorry, 5/5. Sacrificing this, blowing up one of our threats will make a green mana. I mean, the biggin doesn't work as well, right? Human Druid, like, it doesn't have the same kind of effects that we might want for it. So, you know, we're going to get cleaned up here for game number 2. But let's jump into game number 3. Tied up 1-1. All right, game number 3. Ooh, rough. Rough starting hand. This is fine. I mean, it's not great, but it's like we've got 2 threats and we could try to get in there and deal some damage. Our opponent's just full of creatures, so Blighted Agent is really what we're relying on. Glistener Elf not as effective in this matchup, and our opponent just like stripping that away right away. Using that Snuff Out is annoying, but throw a land in the graveyard. We don't need it. We've got, you know, our Brainstorms. We've got our Daze. We got our Force. Let's brainstorm here. So we set this up, do the Force, pitching a Blighted Agent, hoping that it'll be enough. You know, we see the Gaia's Cradles here. You know, we're dumping our hand to try to do this. Our opponent has 4 cards left, but we're hoping that we can kind of stick a threat and be okay. We don't. Daze is ineffective here. Like, it's also like our opponent is able to generate so much mana, so it's like really tough in that regard. And again, yeah, we just get 3 pieces of removal, like Snuff Out, 2 Fatal Pushes. We were not prepared for that. So let's do a little Daze action here. We know it's going to resolve, but really we're just hoping to get the Hedge Maze back. Because we need a way to kind of dig and try to filter some of our cards. So, yeah, Vigorate we don't really need. I mean, yes, it's good, but it, like, we really need a Inkmoth Nexus, a Bladed Agent, something like that. So we're getting beat up a little bit by insects. Take 2 damage. Grist will kill it. So yeah, that's why the Invigorate is a useless card there. We're really hoping to kind of land an actual threat. Now, right becomes a big problem. We got, let's see. All right. So, hey, here's a Noble. Again, not very effective. We're really digging and hoping that we can get into a Blighted Agent, an Ink Moth. But now that right is out, we're kind of stuck. And, yep. Here's 6 mana. Let's kind of pump it out, make a bunch of creatures, and we kind of scoop it up here. We say, okay, now that you've got your Elvish Reclaimer and your right, we're locked out. Our deck is relying on 1 creature attacking and killing you, and your deck is relying on phasing that 1 creature out and then just beating us down. Your right's already a 5/5. It's done. Done. We get beat up here. Oh, would you like to go first? Yes. Yes, I would like to go first. I always want to go first here. All right, so, ooh, we get to see the Tamiyo stuff this time around. It's been we have not seen it yet. All right, turn 1 Tamiyo. We've got Daze to follow it up here so we can interact. And then Tamiyo plus Sylvan Library, basically an immediate flip. Verdant doesn't give us any information what we're fighting against, and they let our Sylvan resolve. Swing in, we'll make a clue. We're kind of set up here for that nice little next turn flip, assuming our opponent doesn't kill us here. And getting this, and we see the Gaia's Cradle, so we go, okay, it's another creature-based deck. Is it going to be another Nadu deck? Because we're getting, you know, our Lush Portico, we're getting a Dryad Arbor. We could have, like, waited and done, like, a wait later, but our opponent's not really doing anything. So we're doing just the chip damage right now. Here's 2 extra. All right, save the embiggen if we can help it, and hope we can set up something there. Yeah, Savannah. So we're now seeing, okay, Knight of Reliquary. We're going to hit that with the Daze. Kind of delay our opponent. We're kind of in this safe bet now, going, oh, okay, you are just a, just basic deck right now. I don't have to worry as much. Let's kind of set up, and we can push for more damage. Wasteland's annoying, but we have our second one. We're going to hit that with a Daze. And they say, okay, we're not playing this out anymore. You're just dazing all my stuff. It's annoying. If our opponent had Wasteland out, they could have countered that and been okay. But they were like, nope, we're not dealing with it. All right, we don't want to put up with that. I mean, they got them to 4 Infect. You could make the argument they probably would have been fine to tough it out, maybe. But I don't know. I think it's like Tamiyo's getting close to ultimating. Yeah, it's tough. All right, let's go see sideboard games. This hand's really good for like just pushing damage. Our opponent revealed Force and a Dryad Arbor to follow it up. So my guess is they've probably got a Gaia's Cradle coming up soon. We're going to get our Elf out, and we've got kind of the Invigorates. We've got the Legolas's Quick Reflexes. The Wasteland's annoying here, but it doesn't really matter too much because we've already got our Elf out. We kept Tamiyo's in here. A lot of times we've been sideboarding them out. Yeah, so here's what we do. We go for this, like... Okay, hold on. I'm pausing it for a second. That was very fast. So I'm going to have to learn how to slow down the replay a little bit. I don't know if there's a way to do that, but if somebody knows, let me know. So here's how this worked. We did Legolas's Quick Reflexes. So if you're not familiar with this card, it's got split seconds, so they can't interact it. They were tapped out. Untap target creature. Until the end of turn, this creature gets hexproof, reach, and whenever this creature becomes tapped, it deals damage equal to its power to one target creature. It was a 1/1 at that point. And so we were able to poke and shoot down their Noble Hierarch, meaning they had no blockers left. And we were able to push and dump both of our Invigorates there. All right, so +4, 8, 9 total damage, put them to 9. Basically, we're saying if you don't have a creature to block with, that, then you just die. And we have another Legolas's Quick Reflexes here. We've got a Blighted Agent, so if the game goes on long enough, we're sticking a Blighted Agent and just going to try to end the game there. That's annoying. We need another land here to kind of stop them. Berserk is nice. So land a Tamiyo, just sort of able to pass turn. It's an 0/3. They can't really push in, but the Thalia is annoying for what our plan is, especially since they wastelanded us earlier. Tapping out for a Knight. We don't really care about that. I mean, it's big, right? It's a 5/5. But now we have a way to push for damage. And here's a Blighted Agent. Do you have a way to kill that? Let's go make a clue here, too. They only have 2 cards left in hand. So they're basically on the hope that they can draw into a way to stop the Blighted Agent. Let's see what they get. A Horizon, they're digging. They don't have it, and they concede. So, yeah, that's sometimes the Infect just can steal wins that way. So we got one more round. Let's see what that's like. Since, you know what, it's Infect, it's Legacy. We're doing the replays so they go faster. We'll get the full league set in here for y'all to be able to enjoy today. Okay, this one's so-so. Okay, all right, hold on. Okay. So they play a Cabal Coffer and target themselves because they happen to have 2 Golgari Grave Trolls in their grave or in their hand. So now it's basically set up as they're ready to just dredge it out. We have no threat, so this was a very greedy keep for our first hand. We had interaction, like we're like, okay, cool, we got a force. We had the pumps, like we're set up here. That's like if we just draw a threat, right, we're okay. So Tough. Tough, tough, tough. Yeah, Noble's going to come out here. We're going to wait and see what shenanigans they do. That's annoying. Here's Narcomoebas. Here's a bridge from below. It's just scary Dredge. All right. We knew it was Dredge when we saw the Grave Trolls. We're going to cast a Cabal Therapy and be able to strip away our Force of Wills. And it's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, Dread Return. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. You're just going to... Yep, okay. I see what you're doing. Yeah, you're just going to fill the board with stuff. Again, we need a threat. We find a threat. Narcomoeba is annoying, but we have ways to deal with it. All right, Legolas's quick reflexes will help us. We can blow up the blocker that way, as long as he does not get any others. But... if you guys were paying attention, we have Thassa's Oracle here. We have all these draw effects. So the way this is working is he's going to continually make tokens, get creatures into his from his library into the graveyard, keep bringing back zombies, keep drawing cards. Let's brainstorm here, put back our scary stuff. We probably shouldn't have because it doesn't really matter. Because look, there's 3 cards left. Let's sacrifice all these tokens with Dread Return and cast this Thassa's Oracle. Trigger on the stack. Guess what? I have 3 cards left in library. My devotion is 3. Let's get a quick, nice, easy win there. So now it's like, oh, okay. This is a combo Dredge win that you're going for here. You're just going to draw your whole library and win off there. For those keeping track at home, that was a nice little turn 3 win for them. All right, you look, they have 2 lands. Maybe it was... Yeah, our turn. We just had our turn 2. We tapped it back. They got turn 3 win. So that was game 1. Let's jump in and see game 2. All right, so game 2, we get access to things like Surgical Extraction. We get access to our Grafdigger's Cage, things like that. So we're hoping to have some interaction. So this time... we're going to be doing the days into Brainstorm. We tap the 1 just in case our opponent has their own Brainstorm. I don't think they will, but seeing all those lands on top is not a good sign for us. Yes, we have the Ink Moth. Hitting their Careful Study here is in the hope that we'd stop and slow down their Dredge plan. And it looks like they're kind of in this land go mode here. Veil of Summers to kind of help us if they do a Cabal against us. We have an Ink Moth here now. All right, so now they got a Stinkweed Imp, which is annoying. We would need essentially a pump. Oh, I should have done... All right, hold on. Okay. We also didn't want to commit and go for the killing of the Stinkweed Imp here. So it's a 1-2. We have the option to play the Pendelhaven, tap Inkmoth Nexus for itself, activate Legolas's quick reflexes off of our 1 green here to untap it, give it hexproof, and have it deal damage to a creature. Play, use our Pendelhaven to pump the Inkmoth, swing in, deal 2 damage to kill this, and push for damage. The problem with that game plan is we don't have the way to kill our opponent here. We don't have any Invigorates. We don't have any Embiggens. We don't have any way to really just burst them down and then just do the slow trickle win. And then that gives our opponent the fuel they need to start dumping their hands into their graveyard and just being like, all right, let's start dredging, right? Dredge 5 off this is pretty scary. So we really have to have the next stuff set up to do that. All right, so yeah, they start dumping things into their graveyard, but nothing too crazy. We go for Brainstorm again. Now the problem, but for us doing that is our Force of Will is annoyed, but we actually have that Veil of Summer, so our stuff is uncounterable. We have another threat out here. We've got the Embiggen, so we're starting to get the tools that we need to clear the path here. Now that was a little bit annoying. We have a fish. All right, and our opponent is able to start going. So let's go. Yeah, before we before things get too crazy. So we thought we were safe with the Grafdigger's Cage. If we have a blue spell, we're also okay. But where's our fish card? Into the Flood Maw. That Bloom Burrow card. Gift a tap fish. Return target creature opponent controls to its owner's hand. If gift was promised, instead return target non-land permanent. And now you start dumping your cards, right? Target player draws 3 cards and discards 3 cards. Well, we have Dredge cards in here. We've got our Bridge from Below. We have all the tools that we need, right? Golgari Grave Troll. We have all the tools we need now to start comboing off and go from there. Narcomoeba comes out. Cabal gets used as well. They're going to name Force of Will, strip away our Force of Will, and our Brainstorm Dig ended up hurting us here. Because now they can get rid of Legolas's quick reflexes and stop us from winning. Which we needed that to go that route. So we can go, all right, let's just push for damage. They'll go for blockers here. We'll get rid of this. We swing with both here because we know that it'll remove his Bridge from Belows, right? When a creature enters a graveyard, then, you know, that goes away. We could have not done anything and held up our mana for Force of Will, but, like, it's, yeah. Hey, let's cast those Cabal Coffers and get rid of your other Force of Will that you drew. Not that we have another blue spell to use, but there's a Dread return. Let's bring back Satoro, the Infiltrator, and start really getting rid of the last couple cards that are left in our hands, in our graveyards, dumping everything. Hey, look at this. There's a Thug that's going in there. 5 cards left in the library. Let's draw some more cards. Let's flash this back. Let's get an Narcomoeba trigger. Let's, you know, we've got 1 card left in the library. And Dread return, sacrificing the remaining stuff. So no surgical there. Didn't, you know, would have been nice. There's the Thassa's Oracle win. So got to see a nice variety of decks for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the legacy content. Make sure you guys are following, subscribing, all that kind of good stuff. We're going to keep putting up more MTGO content every Saturday for you to enjoy as a mix of modern, mix of legacy. Let me know if you guys like the fast replay, the faster games this way, or if you would prefer to see the actual slower gameplay, more decision making, and longer form content that we did with the modern stuff. But that's going to do it for us here today. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, everybody, and I'll see you all next game.